It's 5:47 a.m. on November 17. South of Curacao, the calm Caribbean turns sharp as three Venezuelan patrol ships cut across the water at high speed. On the deck of the USS George Washington, a warning horn blasts through the morning air. Sailors freeze for half a second, then everything erupts into motion. In the combat center, voices stack over each other, tense but controlled, as the radar paints three fast contacts holding a straight line toward the carrier. No slowdown, no turn, no mistake. This is not shadowing. This is a block. Inside the USS Gravely, the bridge goes silent for a moment. Only the engine hum fills the room. Then, the first order hits the radio like a hammer. Gravely, move to intercept. Visible posture only. The destroyer leans into the water, turning just enough to show its presence. On the monitors, the Venezuelan hulls grow larger, throwing white lines across the sea. The question hangs in the air, unspoken but heavy enough for everyone to feel. If neither side turns, who moves first? The moment those three Venezuelan patrol ships pushed into the path of a US carrier group, everything changed. This stretch of sea south of Curacao may look calm on a map, but it is one of the busiest lanes in the Caribbean. Tankers, container ships, and coastal patrols move through it every hour. Any incident here spreads fast, and every nation around these waters pays attention when a carrier group shows up. That is why this moment matters. It is not just about three small ships and one giant carrier. It is about control, pressure, and who decides the rules out here. For the sailors on the George Washington and the Gravely, this is not a simple morning patrol. When a foreign navy cuts across your path, they are not sending a friendly signal. They are testing how far they can push without sparking a fight. Even without weapons locked, the meaning is clear. Someone wants the carrier group to turn. Someone wants them to blink. And if they do, even once, that message echoes across the entire region. It tells every rival, every observer, and every partner that a US carrier can be forced off course. Strategically, Venezuela knows that the closer American ships get to their coastline, the more they see. Radar sites, fast boat networks, hidden supply routes. None of that survives long when a carrier group is staring right at it. Blocking the path is a way to say, stay out, without firing a shot. But the US Navy operates under freedom of navigation. If they back down even a little, it sets a new line in the water, one drawn by someone else's hand. That is why commanders choose to hold steady. That is why the Gravely moves up. That is why every second in that narrow gap counts. To the crews on both sides, this is not theory. This is real metal, real engines, and real distance shrinking on the radar. One wrong call, one bad assumption, and two nations jump into a crisis neither of them planned. It is a standoff built from nerves, pride, and inches of water between hulls. And here is the real question. In a moment like this, would you hold your course or turn away? If you think holding the line is the only choice, press 1. If you think turning is safer, press 9 and tell me why. The first real response starts inside the USS Gravely, as the radar operator calls out the shrinking distance. Three Venezuelan patrol ships hold a tight V-line, pushing toward the carrier group with steady speed and no sign of turning. On the main screen, their red icons move like they are locked on one path. 9 miles, 8.4, 8.1. Each call makes the room feel smaller. On the bridge, the commanding officer gives the order that shapes everything. Maintain course, increase power, intercept posture. The Gravely surges forward, sliding into the lead position in front of the carrier. The crew moves quickly but without panic. A sailor unlocks the 5-inch gun. Another checks the Sea Whiz spinning slowly in test mode. Nothing is aimed at the Venezuelans, but the readiness is clear. Below deck, a young radar tech watches the contacts glow brighter on his screen. To him, each pulse is a reminder that real ships and real crews are closing in. Someone out there is watching back. At 5:55 a.m., the carrier sends the order. Razor 21, cleared for launch, eyes on only. On deck, the MH-60R Seahawk lifts into the morning air and turns south toward the incoming formation. Minutes later, Razor 21 sees them. Through the FLIR camera, the Venezuelan hulls appear sharp against the dark water. The operator zooms in and spots the 76mm bow gun, crew along the rails, and storage boxes strapped to the aft deck. No missile tubes, but nothing casual. Everything looks intentional and tight. Gravely, Razor 21. Visual on 3 Guaycamacuto-class vessels. Formation steady. The helicopter keeps a wide circle, sending live video straight to the Gravely. Taking its forward position, the destroyer cuts through the water, throwing white spray over the bow. The 5-inch gun points ahead, not aimed, but impossible to miss. The carrier behind them stays locked at 20 knots. 7 miles. 6.2. 5.7. Inside the combat center, tension builds fast. The commanding officer places a hand on the console. Hold this course. No raised voice, just a steady order the crew understands instantly. No backing away. The first response is complete. The Gravely is in position. The Seahawk has eyes on target. The Venezuelan ships keep closing. And now the next mile of water will decide how far this standoff goes. The escalation becomes clear when the 3 Venezuelan patrol ships tighten their formation and shift a few degrees across the carrier group's path. On the Gravely's radar, the move looks small, but everyone on the bridge understands what it means. They are no longer just closing in. They are preparing to block. The room goes still for a moment as the numbers drop. Outside, the Gravely pushes harder, taking the forward shield position. White spray climbs the bow, and the 5-inch gun stays locked forward, not aiming, but impossible to ignore. Even small motions matter when 2 navies are this close. The Venezuelan crews answer with their own signals. Their bow guns adjust slightly. Crews stand along the rails, binoculars fixed on the Gravely. No one talks on the radio. No sudden moves. Just the kind of quiet that can flip into danger instantly. Above them, Razor 21 circles at a safe distance. Through the FLIR camera, the pilot sees the pattern forming on the surface. 3 small ships holding a wall, 1 destroyer pushing forward, and a carrier behind them refusing to turn. Formation steady, he reports. Their engines burn bright on the screen, they're committing fully. 5 miles, 4.8. Inside the combat center, operators track each sweep in near silence. The Sea Whiz rotates slightly as its sensors keep alignment. A tech reports that the Venezuelans are using surface search radar more often now, but still no fire control beams. That thin difference is the only reason this isn't already a crisis. On the bridge, the captain watches the Venezuelan hulls grow larger. Their wakes cut a straight line across the carrier's path. Someone says quietly, "They're building the wall." The Gravely holds its course anyway. Behind them, the George Washington stays locked at 20 knots. No drift, no turn. The message is simple. We are not moving unless you do. 4.6 miles. The gap narrows into a stretch of water that feels thinner than it looks. One choice from either side will decide whether this ends as a close pass or something far worse. And here's the question for you. In a moment like this, who should turn first? Press 1 if you think the Gravely should hold the line, or 9 if you think backing off is safer. The twist begins with something almost too small to notice. For several minutes, the pattern is predictable. The Gravely holds steady, and the 3 Venezuelan patrol ships push across the carrier's path with full intent. Then the radar tech on the Gravely leans forward. "Lead contact decreasing speed," he says. The room shifts toward his screen. It is not a full slowdown, just a slight drop, but the meaning is clear. Someone on their bridge is thinking twice. Seconds later, the other 2 ships match the change. Their V formation stays intact, but the pressure behind it fades. They are not retreating, they are hesitating. At this range, hesitation is its own kind of signal. Above them, Razor 21 captures the ship from a cleaner angle. Through FLIR, the heat from the Venezuelan engines dims and their wakes soften. Formation holding, power levels dropping, the pilot reports. The wall they were building is still there, but it is no longer pressing forward with the same force. Another detail appears on the Seahawk's feed. Crew members on the lead Venezuelan ship move away from the bow gun and step back toward the center of the deck. It is a small gesture, but in encounters like this, posture speaks louder than radio calls. They are not preparing weapons. They are preparing to adjust. Inside the Gravely's combat center, operators keep tracking every sweep. The Venezuelans continue using surface search radar but still avoid any fire control beams. That absence is the clearest sign that someone on their side wants to stop this from crossing a line. 4.8 miles becomes 5.1 as the Venezuelan ships ease off just enough to show intent without losing face. They are no longer pushing the block. They are slowing the push. Razor 21 circles again and confirms it. They're still holding the line, but momentum is dropping. On the Gravely's deck, sailors stay at their posts. They know the moment is shifting, but the standoff is not finished. Not yet. The climax hits when both sides move into their closest point yet. The Venezuelan patrol ships stay across the carrier group's path, even after slowing earlier. The Gravely holds 20 knots, pushing into the narrowing space without turning. On the bridge, voices drop. No one wants to break the calm that is barely holding the situation together. 4 miles. From the Gravely's windows, the Venezuelan ships now look close enough to feel. Their wakes cut hard lines across the sea. The destroyer keeps moving straight toward the center of that wall. Any sudden change from either side could flip this into something far worse than a standoff. Inside the combat center, the Sea Whiz gives a short mechanical whine as its sensors adjust. It is still in safe mode, but the reminder is sharp. The radar tech reports, no fire control beams. It is the detail everyone wants to hear, even if it does not make the moment easier. Above them, Razor 21 circles again. The pilot sees the pattern clearly. 3 small ships holding their line, a destroyer refusing to turn, and a carrier behind them staying locked on course. Distance closing, he reports. The Venezuelans still show no change. 3.8 miles. Then the radio crackles. A controlled voice from the Venezuelan side says, United States warship, you are entering a restricted zone. Reduce speed and change heading. The Gravely's captain answers calmly, negative. Operating in international waters. Maintaining course. For a moment, both sides go silent again. And then the shift happens. The lead Venezuelan ship reduces power just enough for its wake to flatten. The other two match it. Their formation loosens, only a few degrees at first, but enough for every radar sweep to show the change. They are no longer pushing the block. They are easing away from it. The wall begins to break apart. But the Gravely does not relax, and neither does the carrier behind it. They hold steady until the distance widens and the danger finally slips back into the water. Before we move to the aftermath, here's a question for you. In this exact moment, when the wall finally cracked, would you have held the course like the Gravely, or turned for safety? Press 1 if you would stay firm, or 9 if you think turning was the better call. The aftermath becomes clear once the Venezuelan patrol ships finally ease away. Their tight V-line stretches into a long formation running parallel to their coastline. Razor 21 spots it first. They're pulling off. Moments later, the Gravely's radar confirms it. The distance grows past 6 miles, and only then does the tension on board start to fade. On the Gravely's bridge, the captain watches them disappear into the morning haze. There is no cheering. For the crew, this was not a victory. It was a reminder of how close both sides came to crossing a line that no one wanted to cross. A single mistake or bad read could have turned the calm sea into an international crisis. Behind them, the George Washington never slowed or turned. The carrier held 20 knots the entire time, sending a simple message: the US Navy will not yield its path in international waters. Below deck, operators begin logging everything radar sweeps, flight video, timestamps of when the Venezuelans slowed and broke formation. Those logs show discipline, not aggression. They show how much control it takes to stay steady when another navy is only minutes away from a dangerous move. For Venezuela, the moment shows they can create pressure, but also that they know when to pull back before things spiral. For the US, the lesson is firm. Smaller ships can challenge, but they cannot force a carrier strike group off its course. By 6:45 a.m., the sea looks calm. The Gravely resumes its escort position. Razor 21 lands. The crews return to routine. But everyone who watched those ships close in knows how thin the line was. It wasn't a battle. It was a warning and a test both sides will carry forward. Now I want to hear from you. After seeing how close this came, would you hold the line like the Gravely or turn away to avoid the risk? Press 1 to stay firm, or 9 if you would have turned.